Welcome to the Copperfield Electric Podcast. Okay, let's unpack this. Have you ever walked into like a luxury hotel courtyard at night and you just feel instantly relaxed?
Oh, absolutely, is a whole vibe.
Right, but then, you look out at your own backyard after the sun goes down and it just feels like, well, like a dark, creeping cave.
Or prison yard.
Exactly, a prison yard because you've got that one massive, blinding floodlight just attached to the back of the house.
Classic security floodlight. Yeah, it's not great for ambiance.
No, not at all. So today we are uncovering the invisible psychological and technical tricks of outdoor lighting. We're taking a huge leap from just the purely functional world of electricity into something that is, honestly, it's a lot more like an art form.
It really is an art.
Yeah. And we have two fantastic sources guiding us today. We're looking at a really comprehensive article by Renee Hernandez from March 13th, 2026. It's called How to Add Ambiance to Your Yard with Outdoor Lighting. And we're pairing that with the official company background of Copperfield Electric.
Which is great, because they are the folks who actually build these systems in the real world.
Right.
So the mission for our deep dive today is to fundamentally change how you, the listener, perceive your outdoor space. We are moving way, way beyond the concept of just, screwing a brighter bulb into the porch fixture.
Or stringing up those cheap plastic lights you get at the pharmacy.
Exactly. We're going to explore the actual architecture of illumination. And professionals, they call this layered lighting.
Layered lighting. I like that term.
Yeah, we'll examine the biological and the visual mechanisms that build true ambiance, plus the underlying low-voltage technology that keeps it all running safely.
Which is so important.
Right. And then we'll introduce you to the licensed professionals at Copperfield Electric who have built an entire family business around actually executing these complex transformations.
Yeah. So for those of you listening, just think of this deep dive as your ultimate shortcut. Like if you're prepping your home for a season of entertaining or you just want to elevate your curb appeal without getting completely bogged down in all the electrical engineering jargon.
Which can be a lot.
It really can. But you are in the exact right place. We are going to decode the secrets of a perfectly lit yard. And it really begins with like a total shift in philosophy.
Yeah, you really have to stop treating your yard as just a flat patch of grass in the dark.
Right. You have to treat it as a multidimensional canvas.
Yeah.
Which brings us to the whole layered lighting design thing. It's basically like painting a landscape.
I love that analogy.
Yeah, because if you want to paint a masterpiece, you wouldn't just, take a bucket of bright white paint and dump it over the entire canvas.
No, that would ruin it.
You'd ruin the subtlety, you'd wash out all the details, and frankly, you'd blind anyone trying to look at it. You need different brush strokes.
What's fascinating here is how the mechanics of layering actually work to trick the human eye.
Oh, really? Trick the eye how?
Well, when you think about a professional landscape during the day, it has depth, right?
Sure, yeah.
But in the dark, you lose all of that depth. The standard homeowner reaction is to install that massive floodlight we were just talking about.
The prison yard light.
Exactly. But visually, a single hyper-bright light source just flattens everything it touches. It takes this beautiful three-dimensional oak tree and turns it into a two-dimensional cardboard cutout.
Oh, wow. I never thought about it like that, but you're totally right.
Yeah, the shadows are harsh, the glare is uncomfortable. It's just not inviting.
So the different brush strokes in our painting analogy, that's the layered lighting?
Precisely. You have to combine different elevations and intensities of light. You start with higher lights, directional fixtures pointing up to highlight the textured canopy of your mature trees.
Or maybe the vertical architecture of your home's facade.
Right, exactly. And then you combine those with much lower lights that emphasize ground features or maybe textures in the stonework and your pathways.
So you're sandwiching the space with light.
Yes. When you balance the highlight on the low light, you eliminate those flat, aggressive shadows. You are essentially sculpting the yard out of the darkness using light as your medium.
Sculpting the yard. That's a great way to put it. And a huge part of sculpting that dimension, according to the Hernandez article, comes down to a specific brush stroke known as accent lighting.
Accent lighting is key.
Yeah, and this isn't about illuminating the whole yard so you can, play a game of midnight football.
No, definitely not.
It's about picking your starring actors. So you use spotlights to highlight a beautiful sculpture, or maybe a stone bird bath.
Or a really intricate water fountain right in the center of the garden.
Right. You are intentionally guiding where the viewer's eye travels.
And the placement of the fixture itself is critical to that illusion. There is this brilliant technique involving the strategic use of recessed lighting.
Okay, recessed lighting in the yard.
Yeah, to brighten flower beds from within. When you recess a light directly into the earth, you're hiding the mechanical fixture itself.
Oh, so you don't even see the hardware.
Exactly. The observer doesn't see a metal box with a bulb in it. They just see the foliage and the vibrant colors of the flowers.
Appearing as if they're, like, glowing organically from the soil.
Right. It gives the entire yard a sense of character and visual focus that a single overhead bulb could just never achieve.
It creates this whole sense of mystery. Like, you see the effect, but not the source.
Exactly.
But, here's where we have to transition from just looking at the yard from the kitchen window to actually living in it.
Right, because you want to use the space.
Yeah, you can have the most beautiful vertical depth and glowing flower beds in the neighborhood, but eventually people need to move through that space.
You need to gather around. The canvas isn't static. It's an interactive environment.
Exactly. And this brings up a section in our source material that really made me pause. Here's where it gets really interesting.
Oh, what caught your eye?
Well, there is explicit advice to use artificial accent lighting around fire pits. And I just sat there thinking, wait a minute. A fire pit is literally a contained fire.
Right.
It is, by its very nature, a massive source of light. Why in the world would I spend time and money digging trenches to add artificial light around something that is already glowing? It just feels completely counterintuitive.
I know, it's a very common reaction.
Yeah.
But there is a fascinating biological mechanism at play here.
Okay, lay it on me.
Well, when you sit around a fire pit, you're staring at a relatively bright light source,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, the fire.
So your pupils automatically constrict to handle that brightness. But a fire pit produces a very localized light. The area immediately next to the flames is bright, but just 3 or 4 feet away,
The light drops off.
it drops off sharply into absolute pitch blackness.
Oh, so when you look away from the fire to, like, grab a drink or something, your constricted pupils mean you are functionally blind for a few seconds.
Exactly. You can't see a thing. And that stark contrast is a massive safety hazard if people are moving chairs, walking around, or if there are steps nearby.
Wow. I never thought about the pupil constriction. That makes so much sense.
Yeah, so by surrounding the fire pit with subtle accent lighting, you provide a consistent base level of ambient warmth. You're softening the hard edges of the darkness.
I see. But you don't want it to be brighter than the fire, right?
No, not at all. The trick is to calibrate the brightness of those artificial lights so they don't overpower the fire's natural flickering glow.
So the fire pit remains the absolute focal point of the space.
Exactly. But the perimeter is now safe to navigate because your eyes don't have to constantly readjust to total darkness.
So you keep the romance of the fire, but you eliminate the risk of your guests, tripping over a cooler in the pitch black.
Exactly. And speaking of tripping, the mechanics of pathway and step lights are crucial here. This is the definition of functional ambiance.
Yeah, pathway and step lights are essentially the silent tour guides of your outdoor space.
That's a great way to look at it. Eliminating walkways, decks, and especially any elevation changes like steps is paramount for preventing falls. But the mechanism of how you space them matters just as much as the light itself.
How so? Like, you shouldn't just line them up like a runway.
Right. When you stagger pathway lights correctly,
Yeah.
alternating sides along a walkway, you create a visual rhythm.
A visual rhythm, okay.
It subconsciously draws guests seamlessly from the back doors of the house, along the path, and out into the main gathering areas without them even realizing they're being guided.
That is so clever.
Yeah.
And when they finally reach those gathering areas, like a deck or a patio, the integration with the light is just brilliant.
Oh, the deck lighting options are amazing now.
Yeah. You can install recessed lighting directly into the wooden railings of a deck or tucked right under the overhanging lip of the stairs.
So again, you don't see the metal fixture.
Right, you just see a gentle wash of light spilling onto the step below it. Because the ultimate goal is extending the timeline of your outdoor living space. You don't want to force everyone inside at 8 p.m. just because the sun went down.
Nor do you want to flip on a harsh overhead security light that makes your dinner guests feel like they are being interrogated in a police precinct.
Right. Where were you on the night of the barbecue?
Exactly. You want warmth, which usually means opting for softer color temperatures in those seating areas.
Which brings us to arguably the most popular recommendation for patios in the article. String lights.
Oh, everybody loves string lights.
They really do. Just hanging a set of high-quality string lights above a patio or draped across a wooden pergola or even just strung evenly along the fence lines, It instantly creates a warm, charming atmosphere.
It gives your backyard that highly sought-after um, bistro vibe.
The bistro vibe, exactly. But why does that work so well? The article points out that psychologically, when you hang lights above head level outdoors, you are essentially creating a virtual ceiling.
A virtual ceiling.
Yeah, you're taking a vast, open, dark sky and capping it with warm light.
Hmm.
And that makes the space feel enclosed, intimate, and cozy, even though there are literally no walls.
It completely redefines the geometry of the outdoor room.
It really does.
But, implementing all of this, the recessed step lights tucked under wood, the string lights suspended in the wind, the spotlights buried in the dirt, it all requires a highly reliable engine.
Right. Because a beautifully designed outdoor space is entirely useless if the underlying system is a fire hazard.
Or if the bulbs are burning out every month.
Or if it pauses your monthly energy bill to just quadruple. So what does this all mean? It means your lighting isn't just decoration.
No, it has to function.
If it's engineered correctly, it's acting like a smart, silent security guard that also happens to look incredibly elegant at a party. We have to move from the visual aesthetics to the actual technology and the safety protocols powering the glow.
Right. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, there has been a massive shift in the underlying technology of outdoor lighting over the last decade.
You're talking about LEDs, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Specifically, the total dominance of LEDs. Light-emitting diodes have become the absolute top choice for both residential homes and commercial businesses across the country.
And the mechanism behind why they're superior is entirely practical.
Very practical. Think about old incandescent bulbs. They create light by heating a tiny wire filament until it glows.
Which means they get hot.
Very hot. They produce a massive amount of wasted heat, and they consume a ton of electricity to do it. LEDs don't burn a filament. They just pass an electrical current through a microchip, which illuminates the tiny light sources.
Which means they use a fraction of the electricity.
A tiny fraction.
And that matters immensely when you're leaving a dozen landscape lights on for 6 to 8 hours every single night. The energy savings on your utility bill are huge.
Oh, absolutely.
Furthermore, because LEDs aren't relying on a fragile burning filament, they are incredibly durable.
Right, they can handle the vibrations of a lawnmower going by.
Exactly. And they last for tens of thousands of hours. You aren't going to be dragging a ladder out to the oak tree every 3 months to replace a burnt-out bulb.
No one wants to do that.
Ah.
And from a design perspective, LEDs offer incredible flexibility.
Like with the colors.
Yeah, you can adjust the color temperatures. You can move from a crisp, cool white to highlight, say, modern architecture, to a very warm amber glow for that fire pit seating area we talked about.
That's so cool.
And beyond just the diodes, we are seeing smart and eco-friendly technology heavily integrated into these systems now.
Like solar.
Yes, solar-powered path lights are incredibly popular right now for eco-friendly illumination. They allow you to add light to the far corners of your property without needing to dig trenches and run extensive underground wiring all the way back to the house.
Which saves a ton of labor.
Huge savings.
And motion sensors are a crucial trend for both security and energy savings.
Definitely.
You can have certain path lights or perimeter security zones programmed to activate only when physical movement is detected. It saves electricity while simultaneously acting as a very effective deterrent against anyone poking around your side gate.
Absolutely. But, whenever you have electrical equipment living permanently outside in the elements,
Facing torrential rain, sprinklers.
daily sprinkler systems, freezing temperatures, and dirt safety has to be the paramount concern.
Right.
There are clear, non-negotiable safety protocols when installing these systems. First, all wiring must be completely watertight and securely buried or protected in conduit to prevent shock hazards.
Makes sense.
Second, relying on low-voltage systems is highly recommended.
Okay, let's clarify what low voltage actually means in this context, because it's a term thrown around a lot.
Good point.
Standard house electricity runs at 120 volts. That is enough power to cause serious harm if a wire is exposed.
Yes, it is.
But a low-voltage landscape system uses a transformer to step that 120 volts down to just 12 volts.
Right.
So if an ambitious squirrel or the family dog chews through a 12-volt wire in the garden, or if a shovel accidentally clips it while you're planting, it's a minor nuisance, not a fatal shock hazard.
Exactly. It makes the entire yard inherently safer.
And it doesn't get as hot.
No, those low-voltage LED lights generate significantly less heat than traditional halogen or incandescent bulbs. This drastically reduces the risk of fire.
Which is super important when they're in the landscaping.
Think about it. You're often tucking these fixtures directly into dry foliage, screwing them into wood decking, or burying them in wood mulch in your flower beds. You cannot have a fixture heating up to a couple hundred degrees in those environments.
That's a recipe for disaster.
Exactly. And finally, physical positioning is a safety protocol in itself. You have to ensure fixtures are placed where they won't blind drivers on the street, become trip hazards on the walkway, or get instantly destroyed by a landscaper's weed whacker.
Right. Which brings us to a really crucial realization here. Tackling a layered, multidimensional, low-voltage, smart sensor LED lighting project is generally not a DIY weekend project for the average homeowner.
No, I really wouldn't recommend it.
You're dealing with weatherproofing, you're dealing with calculating voltage drops over long wire runs, and most importantly, you're dealing with your home's main electrical load.
Exactly.
This introduces the professionals who actually act as the architects of this glow. Let's look at Copperfield Electric.
Yeah, and this raises an important question. Before you even finalize a blueprint for dozens of new outdoor fixtures, is the electrical panel in your garage actually equipped to handle the new load?
Oh, that's a good point.
If you live in a house built 30 years ago, its electrical brain was not designed to power the modern technology we plug in today.
That is where professional expertise is absolutely invaluable. And the Copperfield Electric background we have here is really impressive. They are a family-owned business operating right out of Southern California.
Specifically Orange County, right?
Right. They are a 24-hour electrician based in Orange County. And because it's vital to know you are dealing with legitimate professionals when it comes to your home's infrastructure, their official state license number is 1094740.
Always good to check the license.
Always. They cover a massive footprint, which grounds them deeply in the local community. They send technicians everywhere, from coastal towns like Newport Beach, Huntington Beach, and Laguna Beach, all the way inland through Irvine, Santa Ana, Costa Mesa, Mission Viejo, Tustin, Orange, and Fullerton.
That's a huge service area. And what is crucial to understand is that their capabilities extend far beyond simply stringing up bistro lights over a patio.
Right, they do the heavy lifting.
Exactly. When we ask if an older home can handle a new outdoor setup, Copperfield offers comprehensive heavy-duty electrical services to make sure that foundation is solid. If your panel is outdated or maxed out, they specialize in full electrical panel upgrades and replacements.
Okay, so they can handle the big stuff.
Oh, yeah. They also handle complex new construction wiring. For instance, if you are building an accessory dwelling unit, an ADU in your backyard.
Oh, those are so popular right now.
They are. But an ADU isn't just a shed. That is a secondary home requiring trenching, new subpanels, and massive load calculations. They wire those from the ground up.
And they're also fully equipped for the modern energy landscape. Like if you've recently purchased an electric vehicle, you can't just plug that into a standard wall outlet if you want a fast charge.
Definitely not.
Copperfield handles residential and commercial EV charger installations, upgrading your system specifically to handle that massive draw of power.
They really cover everything.
They even manage home generator installations and standby power services, which is incredible peace of mind during grid outages.
It is. But, technical capability is only half the equation when you're hiring a contractor.
What do you mean?
Well, letting someone into your home to alter its physical infrastructure requires immense trust.
Oh, for sure.
They emphasize that their entire team is strictly background checked, fully licensed, bonded, and insured. They take the anxiety out of the process by backing their work with a 100% satisfaction guarantee.
Which speaks directly to their fundamental business philosophy. They pride themselves on being honest electricians.
That's a big deal.
It is. They have a strict policy that they will only diagnose a problem if it truly exists.
Wow.
Yeah, proper, honest troubleshooting can actually save a homeowner a significant amount of money. They aren't going to invent phantom issues just to pad an invoice.
That is so refreshing to hear.
Right. And honestly, their company motto perfectly encapsulates the entire feeling of relief you want when hiring an expert. The motto is, you've got enough worries, let us take care of the lights.
I love that. And that peace of mind is incredibly valuable, especially because it extends to their availability. Copperfield heavily emphasizes their 247 emergency service.
247, so like middle of the night.
Exactly. Imagine this scenario. You've invested in designing the perfect layered lighting setup. You're hosting a massive evening dinner party on your newly lit patio.
Sounds lovely.
Suddenly, an unexpected electrical fault trips a main breaker, and half your house and your entire beautiful backyard goes pitch black.
Oh no, party ruined.
Well, Copperfield is available after normal business hours. They offer round-the-clock support to ensure you are never left in the dark when you need your system the most.
It is the ultimate safety net for your home.
It really is.
So, taking a step back and looking at everything we've unpacked today, the value of understanding this is immense. We've explored the visual mechanics of layered lighting, how accent lights sculpt trees out of the dark, how pathway lights subconsciously guide foot traffic, and how overhead string lights create the psychological comfort of an outdoor room.
We covered a lot of ground.
We did. We decoded the technology, understanding exactly why energy-efficient, cool-running LEDs and low-voltage transformers are the absolute gold standard for property safety.
Without a doubt.
And most importantly, for those of you in Orange County and the surrounding areas, knowing that a fully licensed, honest team like Copperfield Electric is just a phone call away to install, upgrade, or rescue your system 24/7 is a total game changer.
It really transforms what could be a dangerous, overwhelming technical chore into an exciting creative endeavor.
It does.
But before we wrap up today, I want to leave you with a final thought, building on the advice to meticulously plan your outdoor layout.
Okay, what's that?
When you're mapping out where every recessed fixture and pathway light will go, consider a dimension that architectural diagrams always leave out: the dimension of time.
Oh, this is an interesting angle. How do you mean?
Well, when you're designing your layered lighting to perfectly illuminate the thick, lush canopy of a beautiful oak tree or the vibrant blooms of a summer flower bed, you're lighting for July.
Right.
But ask yourself how those shadows will physically change as the Earth rotates around the sun. How dramatically will that ambiance shift when autumn comes and the leaves thin out?
Oh, wow.
And eventually, what will those uplights hit when those branches are completely bare against the freezing winter sky?
Mhm.
A truly dynamic yard isn't just a static photograph. It is a year-round, living, breathing canvas.
That's beautiful.
Planning for how the light plays through skeletal winter branches versus full summer foliage is what separates a standard lighting setup from a truly masterful professional design.
That is a phenomenal point to end on. You aren't just lighting the physical space, you are lighting the seasons as they change.
Right.
Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive. Whether you are ready to completely overhaul your backyard oasis or you just needed to know who to call when the breaker panel starts acting up, we hope this gave you exactly the tools you needed to see your home in a new light. Stay curious, keep looking at things from a new angle, and we will catch you on the next one.